All right, let's talk about that brilliant idea you have. You know the one that wakes you up at night, the one you think could be a real game changer. Today, we're going to put it to the test. We're going to run it through a process called a feasibility analysis to see if it's just a cool idea or if it has what it takes to actually become a successful business.
And that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? You can have the most innovative, exciting idea in the world, but that passion, while you absolutely need it, isn't enough on its own. So how do you figure out if your idea can actually survive and, thrive out there in the real world?
Well, you build a bridge, and that bridge is called a feasibility analysis. Think of it like a structured reality check. It's something you do before you quit your day job, before you pour your life savings into something. It's all about asking the really tough questions right now so you can avoid making huge, costly mistakes later on.
And look, it's not nearly as intimidating as it sounds. We're going to break this whole thing down into 3 pretty simple parts. First, we'll do a checkup on your team and resources. That's organizational feasibility. Then we'll get into the numbers game with financial feasibility. And finally, we'll do a big reality check on the market. So let's dive in. Okay, first up, the organizational checkup. This is where we look inward. Before you can even think about building a product or a service, you have to ask yourself, do we have the right people and do we have the right tools for the job? This really boils down to 2 things. On one hand, you've got management prowess. That's a fancy way of saying take a hard, honest look at the people involved. Do your partners have the experience, the grit to actually pull this off? Then there's resource sufficiency. This is everything else you need that isn't cash.
So what kind of resources are we talking about here? Well, it's all the practical stuff. Like, can you actually find a decent place to work that you can afford? Is there a good talent pool nearby to hire from? Have you thought about protecting your intellectual property? And, maybe most importantly, can you really convince talented people to leave their stable jobs and come join your risky venture? Lacking any of these can stop a fantastic idea cold.
Okay, let's say you've got the team and the tools ready to go. Great. Now for part 2, it's time to crunch the numbers. We have to figure out if this idea can actually make money or if it's just going to be a very, very expensive hobby.
So, the single most important number to understand, especially at the beginning, is your break-even point. This isn't about getting rich. Not yet. This is about survival. It's the exact point where the money coming in perfectly covers all the money going out. Hit that number, and you're surviving. Anything above it, that's profit. Anything below it, well, you're losing money. Every single founder has to know this number.
Now, to figure that out, you have to understand your costs. And they really come in 2 main flavors. You've got your fixed costs. Think of these as the bills that show up every single month no matter what, like your rent or your insurance. Then you have your variable costs. These go up and down depending on how much you produce. So for example, the more you make, the more you spend on raw materials. Getting a handle on both of these is absolutely crucial.
Okay, so what about the money coming in? How do you even begin to project your sales? Well, it starts with a really simple formula. You take your best guess at the number of target customers you have, and you multiply that by the average amount you think each one will spend with you. That gives you your basic sales projection. And look, it's not a wild guess in the dark, it's an educated estimate, and it's a fantastic starting point.
Which leads us perfectly into our final, and you could argue, the most important step of all, sizing up the market. You can have the best team on the planet and a flawless financial plan, but if nobody actually wants to buy what you're selling, it's all for nothing, right?
You have to start by looking at the biggest possible picture. We call this the total available market, or TAM for short. Think of this as the entire universe of people who could potentially buy your product. If you're starting a new kind of dog food, your TAM might be every single dog owner in the country. It's a huge, optimistic number. But let's be real, you can't reach everyone. So the next step is to narrow that down to your serviceable available market, or SAM. This is the slice of that giant pie that you can realistically serve. So for that dog food company, maybe your SAM is just dog owners in a specific region who shop at specialty pet stores. It's the group you can actually target with your money and your effort.
And here's something you really have to remember about analyzing the market. It's part science, but it's also part art. As this quote says, projecting your market share is a subjective estimate. It's a forecast, not a fact, because it all depends on how well you do your job, how good your pricing is, how clever your marketing is. It's about execution.
So, you've looked at your team, you've run the numbers, you've sized up your market. Now what? Well, now it's time for the final verdict. It's time to put all those pieces together and make a decision. You see, Every single thing we've talked about, it all funnels down to one simple binary choice. It's the ultimate go, no-go decision. The whole point of this entire exercise is to give you a clear, evidence-based reason to either move forward with confidence or to wisely hit the pause button.
And the framework for this decision is pretty straightforward. You just look at each area we analyzed, your team, your resources, the money, the market, and you give each one a go or a no-go. Be honest with yourself. Is the team truly strong enough? Go or no-go. Do the financials actually work? Go or no-go.
And if you go through that checklist and you find yourself with a whole lot of go signals, well, first of all, congratulations. That is your green light. It means the feasibility analysis did its job. It's shown that your idea has legs. And now you're ready to start putting in the serious work on a full business plan.
So you see, a feasibility analysis isn't meant to be a roadblock. It's a launch pad. It's the tool that gives you the confidence to know whether your idea should stay a dream in a notebook or if it's time to start building that bridge to reality. So the only question left for you is, are you ready to press go?